Welcome to It Started Somewhere, the podcast that dives into the history behind the familiar. I'm Shaimond, and today we're tackling a topic that's been making waves in cities around the world, congestion pricing. You might have heard about it recently, especially if you live in or near a major city. But did you know that this concept has been around for decades? Let's hit the road and explore the journey of congestion pricing, from its theoretical beginnings to its implementation in cities across the globe. Our story begins in the halls of academia, way back in 1952. A brilliant economist named William Vickrey is pondering the crowded subways of New York City. He has an idea that's ahead of its time. What if we charge people different fares based on when they ride? This simple concept was the seed that will grow into what we now know as congestion pricing. But Vickrey didn't stop there. In 1959, he expanded his thinking to road traffic. Imagine equipping every car with a transponder monitoring when they enter congested areas and billing the owner accordingly. Higher fees during rush hour, lower fees during off-peak times. It sounds a lot like the systems we're seeing today, doesn't it? Vickrey spent the next 3 decades championing his idea, but it was a tough sell. People weren't ready for such a radical change in how we think about road usage. It wasn't until 1996 that Vickrey's work was recognized with a Nobel Prize in economics. Tragically, he passed away just 3 days after receiving this honor, never getting to see his idea put into practice on a large scale. While Vickrey was still advocating for his ideas in the West, a city-state on the other side of the world was about to make history. In 1995, Singapore became the first city to implement a form of congestion pricing. Picture this: the bustling streets of Singapore in the mid-70s. The government introduces what they call the Area Licensing Scheme. It was pretty straightforward. If you wanted to drive into the central business district during morning peak hours, you had to buy a special license. It cost $3 per day or $60 per month. Not keen on paying? No problem. You could park on the outskirts and take a shuttle in for just 50 cents each way. This system remained in place for over 2 decades until 1998, when Singapore once again led the way by introducing the world's first electronic road pricing system. Suddenly, toll payments became automatic, ushering in a new era of congestion management. Fast forward to the early 2000s, congestion in London had reached a breaking point. Enter Mayor Livingstone with a controversial plan. On February 17, 2003, London launched its congestion charge scheme, covering an 8-square-mile area in the city center. The system was simple but effective. Drivers had to pay a daily fee to enter the zone between 7 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. on weekdays. The results were impressive. Within a year, traffic in central London dropped by 30%, and bus ridership increased. London's success caught the world's attention. Other cities started to seriously consider congestion pricing as a viable solution to their traffic woes. In 2006, Stockholm decided to give congestion pricing a try. They launched a 7-month trial charging vehicles entering the city center. The results were so positive that after a referendum, the system was made permanent. What's interesting about Stockholm's approach is that they charge users every time they cross into the congestion zone, unlike London's daily fee. They also put a cap on the maximum daily tax, striking a balance between deterring excessive driving and not overly burdening regular commuters. Now let's zoom across the Atlantic to the Big Apple. New York City's journey with congestion pricing has been, well, let's call it complicated. The idea first gained serious traction in 2007 when Mayor Michael Bloomberg proposed a congestion pricing plan as part of his initiative. The plan would have charged drivers $8 to enter Manhattan below 86th Street on weekdays. It got as far as being approved by the city council, but hit a roadblock in the state assembly. The concept lay dormant for a decade until Governor Andrew Cuomo revived it in 2017 as part of a plan to fix the city's ailing subway system. This time, the proposal made it into the state budget in 2019, but the road to implementation was far from smooth. The plan needed federal approval, which was delayed during the Trump administration. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic, putting everything on hold. Finally, in June 2023, the Federal Highway Administration gave the green light. The MTA announced that congestion pricing will begin on June 30th, 2024. But in a last-minute twist, Governor Kathy Hochul put the plan on indefinite hold that same month. Just when it seemed like New York's congestion pricing dream might be dead, Hochul revived the proposal in November 2024, albeit with a lower price point. And that brings us to where we are today. As of June 5th, 2025, New York City has finally joined the ranks of major cities with congestion pricing. The system covers Manhattan's central business district south of 60th Street, now known as the Congestion Relief Zone. Here's how it works. Most drivers entering the zone between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. on weekdays are charged $9. The tolls are collected electronically, and there are discounts for off-peak hours to encourage overnight deliveries. The goal: to reduce traffic, improve air quality, and generate funds for the city's public transportation system. The MTA estimates that this new system will generate $15 billion in capital for repairs and improvements to subways, buses, and commuter rail. So what's the verdict on congestion pricing? Well, it's a mixed bag. In cities where it has been implemented, like Singapore, London, and Stockholm, the results have largely been positive. Traffic has decreased, air quality has improved, and public transit has seen increased ridership and investment. But it's not without controversy. Critics argue that it disproportionately affects low-income drivers and can harm businesses in the congestion zone. There's also the question of privacy, with some people uncomfortable with the idea of their movements being tracked. As far as the future, it seems likely that more cities will adopt some form of congestion pricing as they grapple with increasing urbanization and the need to reduce carbon emissions. We're already seeing variations on the theme, like Milan's Area C program, which started as an environmental charge and evolved into a congestion charge. And there you have it, folks, the journey of congestion pricing, from a professor's idea to a reality in major cities around the world. It's a story of innovation, persistence, and the ongoing challenge of balancing urban mobility with environmental concerns. As we've seen, the road to implementing congestion pricing is often as congested as the streets it aims to clear. But as cities continue to grow and evolve, it's likely to remain a key tool in the urban planner's toolkit. Next time you're stuck in traffic or breezing through a formerly congested area, spare a thought for William Vickrey and his groundbreaking idea. Who knows? Maybe you're experiencing the fruits of his labor firsthand. This has been It Started Somewhere. And I'm Shaimond, reminding you that every big idea starts somewhere small. Until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your mind on the journey. I'll catch you on the next episode.